dog boys, horse boys, farm boys, trustee level 1 with the gate pass, furloughs, 309’s, barn boys, a lot of boys. Hello, welcome to Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. If you like this video, and even if you don't, please push like. So, with scumbag extraordinaire, former chief of police turned convicted murderer, who then was processed into the Arkansas Department of Corrections and found out he was a rapo after DNA test revealed such, Grant Hardin. Since he's been in the news, a lot of things about the Arkansas Department of Corrections have been on my mind. Then I read the comment section, somebody will say something, then it'll spark something else in my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and run this thing about Arkansas again, not necessarily on Grant Hardin. I'll make Hardin or Harding, whatever, but I'll make a few comments about it. But I saw some staff members or correctional officers riding horses, and I saw an actual dog. Somebody had a dog with a leash. And that's what kind of really spawned this story. And that's what made me think of dog boys. I was then going to do this just about dog boys, and then I thought of horse boys. Anyway, let me get to this. So dog boys. So let me give you a personal account of what I know and how I knew it. In 1993, December, I was put on the chain in Sebastian County Jail or Detention Center with a guy named Randy Mendoza. Randy Mendoza was about 40 at the time. I was in my early 20s. He was well known in the criminal world in the Sebastian County area and over in Oklahoma. Robberies, drug dealing, and finally murder. Him and 3 other individuals killed somebody. I forgot what the circumstance were, but he ended up snitching on this case. I did not know this at the time. Anyway, that was my first time I went to jail. So I went down to diagnostics with him. That's Pine Bluff Diagnostics. After a few weeks, 3 weeks, we were sent to Cummins. Randy went into protective custody, which was 7 barracks. By the way, almost everybody who was white off that chain went straight to PC. It was the thing that a lot of the white guys did back then. I didn't even know what PC was at that point in my life. It was actually in 7 barracks at Cummings. Anyway, so I'm only in Cummings less than 60 days before I'm sent to Calico Rock, which is where this guy Grant just escaped from. But before I left, I found out or heard that Randy Mendoza was offered and accepted a job as one of the dog boys. The dog boys, they are the people who wow, what a day. They're the people who actually take care of the dogs who would run people down if they tried to escape. Cummins is a huge work farm. And so, somebody escapes from there. I mean, it's going to take them a while to even get off the property. Well, I mean, there's different areas. But anyway, but the dog boys. First of all, if you become a dog boy, you are one of the most hated individuals in the prison system. People will hurt you if they can get their hands on you. So they live outside the prison, no fence, in a house. And the dog, I don't know how many there are, but the dog boys do live together. And it is well known that staff allow them to do whatever they want as long as they take care and train the dogs. And I know for a fact back in the 90s that they were staying high, staying drunk, and had girls in and out of the house like it was a brothel. So they were living large. They get to eat what they want. It's not the prison food. They actually get food from the main kitchen and bring it out there, from what I was told back then. Now, I did talk to Randy after, so I'll get to that. So, for example, there was good quality food in Arkansas when I was down there. The prison is self-sustaining, which means that they grow everything. They did back then. I don't know if things have changed some. But it was the way they cooked it that made it horrible. So if you go get a slab of beef from a cow that was just freshly cut, or catfish from the catfish pond, that's what they were getting, and then would go cook it themselves, so the food was good. Same food, prep different. That's off the subject, but they were living large. The dog boys lived large. And like I said, their job was just to keep up with the kennels, train the dogs, etc. Then you have the horse boys. They're not called horse boys. They don't call them like that. But basically, they do the same thing as the dogs, only with the horses. The guys that do the horses, I might add, though, do not live outside the prison. They live in with the general population guys. And I'm not really sure why they aren't hurt. Because really, they're training horses, and those horses go run with the dogs when individuals escape. However, the horses are used for a lot more things, predominantly for the guards to sit on the horse with the shotgun and watch over the inmates who are working in the field. That still happens to this day, okay? Then you have what are called 309's, or the 309 Act. I always refer to it as the 309 Project. I don't know why. So 309, let's get back to Randy Mendoza. I met a guy named Alan Teague, in 95 when I did a violation in Sebastian County Jail. And he had known Randy Mendoza all his life, right? And there was some justification on many individuals of why Randy testified against the murder. So whatever, I don't know the particulars. I was always told from the side that supports him that he got a bad rap. He had nothing to do with it, and that he made a statement or something like that. But my point is people still, to put it bluntly, fucked with Randy still. Randy's is a dog boy at Cummins. He then puts in for a 309. A 309 is a state prisoner that goes into county jail, works in the county jail with the approval of a sheriff. So if I want to, for example, if I was doing time, let's say up at Calico Rock, and I wanted to be closer to my then wife back in the day, my first wife, and I put in for a 309 to work in Sebastian County, I'd have to be approved through the sheriff. Once you're approved, they then bring you down here. Now, I actually did do that. I didn't have enough time. I think you had to have a couple of years or more, a couple of years to serve. So I had, I did a year total on a 3-year sentence with the joint suspension. But anyway, so this is the deal with the 309s. There are many small jails in Arkansas still. There are many small towns, big counties that are densely populated. So you have the good old boy system that's what most of these jails are, run off the prison system. It's a good old boy system. Grant Hardin got out because it was a good old boy system. They didn't have to follow policy or protocol and ID each individual walking out the gate. Instead, the good old boy waved to the other good old boy and walked out. So got the good old boy system going on back here still. Hey, good, bad, and different, doesn't matter, stating a fact. So there are 309s that still exist to this day. That guys, even with life sentences, they could have stopped the life sentences, and I'll get to that. Even guys with life sentences, I know, who became 309s. They then go work in the jail for a period of time, and then they are allowed a gate pass to go into the community for a few hours. Then it's during the weekend, and you get to go during the weekend all day long. Then it's overnight on the weekend as your trust builds up. In one case, a friend of mine's brother, I say a friend, I did time with the guy. I even forgot, I can't think of the name right now. I had a life sentence for murder, and I want to say somewhere down south of Little Rock, a smaller area, a smaller town. Committed murder, knew the sheriff. They brought him back as a 309. The guy had his house down there. He lived in his house, spent the night at his house, and in the daytime, like a prison guard, would go to work. During that time, he got married, had kids, and raised a family during the time that he was a 309. Now, that's an extreme case, but let's get back to Randy Mendoza. He became a 309. Was it Faulkner County, Conway? I'm not sure, or thereabout. with Alan Teague, and they got to go home on the weekends. And of course, that means they got high all weekend. That's what happened, because at that time I was involved in the drug game and they called me to get drugs. Yeah, and then I found out that Randy was there. I actually kept in contact with Alan for a while, and they wanted me to bring him drugs down there, which I did not. But anyway, so the 309's have a lot of perks if they're in a good county jail, which, like I said, so I was in Logan County. There was a 309 down there, and he went home every night. He went home every night at that time. So, and that was for a couple years. And then there was two more. I think there was two more total 309's. I think there was 5 at the time, but the other ones stayed in the jail. But they would go, like, for example, buy me pizza. I had money, cash money in the locker. And with the approval of one of the good old boy jailers, the 309's actually went into town, bought me pizza, and brought it back. That's how it worked. That's the 309. So the horse boys, like I said, they take care of the horses. They, they take care of them from doing the stables to training them to breaking them in, and those are used for the guards, or when somebody escapes, the guards jump on them and go track everybody down. So we got the 309's, I said, the dog boys. So you have trustees with gate passes. So those are guys that'll clean up the parking lot and stuff. At first, I thought this former chief, Grant Harding, whatever. I first thought he might have been one of those guys. Don't get it twisted. The years don't matter. The crime doesn't matter. You could, once you gain trust or whatever. So, you know, you can become a level 1. So Arkansas, there's 4 levels, 1 being the best, class 4 being the worst. Then you have a level 1A or 1B, and you get a gate pass and you can go out. I think also to go in the community and clean up and stuff like that, I believe you needed to be a level 1. But guys go in the community and clean up and do stuff like that. I believe they did, in some prisons, they might have did trash pickup back in the day. I don't know how that is now. But and also those horse guys, they do sell the horses when they get age. They have auctions and sell them to people in the community. So, but getting back to the dog boys up in Calico Rock right now, the dog boys actually have their work cut out for them, I guess. Well, it's looking like he might have gotten a truck and a semi-truck and traveled elsewhere. But and I also want to add about this in the first video I did, or second one, but I mentioned this escape incident. I talked about the people in Calico Rock being armed to the teeth. I don't know if you guys seen anything about this. Did you see them interviewing people? Got this girl out there. She's got her 9 by her side. Got her 9 with her at all times. She's like, you know, I mean, there were some that were actually funny. I was watching some of the local news. You know, they're hoping for them to pop up. You know, it's a free one. You know, it's a trophy up there. So, yeah. That's about it for now. I just wanted to touch up about the 309. Oh, the work for the furloughs too. And again, let me go back over the furloughs. So if you have, I forgot how much time you need to have, but if you do a year or 2 clear conduct, you can put in for a furlough and you can go home for a week. Every year you can go home for a week. That has to have the sheriff's approval. Usually what you have to do is you have to get your wife to basically go almost below the sheriff. You know, not in every case, but having a good looking spouse would be helpful. And if she's a little flirtatious, you know, if you trust her. But anyway, and I actually know cases where the guy was denied. It wasn't Teague, it was Ronald, I don't think of his name. The guy was denied. He actually had a stripper wife. And I don't know, I can't say that that's not how it was presented, but she went in, batted around, shook her ass a little bit, and hey, wouldn't you know, he was granted a furlough. Maybe she did more. I don't know. But just thought I'd talk about that. I just Googled, because I was Googling, trying to get a photo for the thumbnail of Dog Boys, and saw a bunch of history on Tucker, and I'm probably going to do some more about the ADC and the history of the ADC. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do it for tomorrow. Friday's usually a slow video day. but I'll just put it out there anyway. And then I'm gonna get on this book with some videos, and you'll see. Well, I won't even explain it. Otherwise, it is Thursday. There is a possibility of a live tonight. Right now, I'm looking at my Wi-Fi, and my Wi-Fi is clogging up, spotty, whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, have a great day. And I did my yard, if you saw the video, bad thoughts. Did my yard work yesterday. Took forever, sucked. But I went to bed and I slept like a freaking rock. Actually woke up feeling good. Take care.